Why is it that you are a competent, successful adult for 11 months of the year, but the moment you walk through your parents' front door for Christmas, you turn into a defensive 14-year-old? We call this the holiday regression. You spend all year building your life. You run a business, you manage a household, maybe you are spiritually aligned, you are healthy, but then you sit at the dinner table, and your mother makes one comment about your weight, your uncle makes one dig about your career, or maybe it's not even what they say, it's the silence, it's the passive aggression, and instantly your heart rate spikes, your breathing creates a shallow loop, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that holds your logic and your faith, goes offline. You snap or you shut down. And then you drive home feeling guilty, wondering, why did I let them get to me again? Today, I'm not going to give you fluffy advice about spreading the holiday cheer and anything like that. I'm going to break down the psychological and spiritual mechanics of toxic family dynamics. And I'm going to give you a specific protocol that is part of the alignment method to survive the holidays without losing your soul. Because here is the problem. Most advice that you get in church or in standard therapy doesn't work for toxic families. The secular world tells you to cut them off. If they don't deserve you, delete them. But as Christians, we wrestle with the commandment to honor thy father and mother. So we get stuck. We think honoring means enduring. We think that to be a good Christian at Christmas, especially, you have to just sit there and take it and be an emotional punching bag. So let me reframe this for you. Allowing your family to abuse you isn't love. Enabling their dysfunction isn't honoring them. If you know that every time you talk about politics, it turns into a screaming match, and you still engage in that conversation, you are just participating in the chaos. We have to look at the data. When you enter a toxic environment, your body enters threat detection mode and your cortisol spikes, the cortisol being the stress hormone. If you go into that dinner expecting them to be different, you are breaking your own heart. Nothing more, nothing less. We have to stop negotiating with reality. Your mother is who she is, your brother is who he is. The definition of insanity is walking into a lion's den wearing a steak vest and being surprised when you get bitten. So, step one of this protocol is radical acceptance. Not approval, acceptance. Stop trying to change everybody. Stop trying to get them to see you. The goal of this Christmas is not reconciliation. The goal is preservation. So, how do we do this? How do we sit at the table, keeping our faith intact and be able to not explode? So, I want to teach you two concepts that we use in the alignment method. The first one is the J.A.D.E rule. Toxic family members feed on your reaction. They want what is called narcissistic supply. This means that they need an emotional response from you in order to regulate their own unstable emotions. So, when they criticize your parenting or your job or your church, you feel the urge to do these four things, JADE being an acronym: justify, argue, defend, and explain. Do not jade. When you explain yourself to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you, you are wasting your dignity and your time. If your aunt says, "Oh, you're still single, you're too picky," the old you, the 14-year-old you, let's say, would defend, saying something like, "Well, actually, I'm focusing on my career right now." And then the aunt argues back, and then you're trapped. The aligned you uses a different tool entirely. It's called the neutral acknowledgement. You simply say, "I hear that you feel that way," or Oh, that's an interesting perspective. And then you take a bite of the turkey. This brings us to the second tool. Be a gray rock. Have you ever seen a gray rock on the ground? It's boring, it's uninteresting. You don't kick it, you don't pick it up, you don't even look at it, you just ignore it. Be that rock. Become uninteresting to the drama. Give short, boring answers. Housework, it's fine, thanks. Why don't you visit more? I've been quite busy. Pass me the soul, please. You are conserving your energy. You are guarding your heart, just like Proverbs 4:23 tells us to do. You are keeping the door to your soul closed to people who haven't earned the right to come inside. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds cold and not very Christian like. Actually, Jesus set boundaries constantly. When the crowds got too much, he left. When people tried to trap him in arguments, he asked a question or stayed completely silent. You need to treat your energy like it is a bank account. You do not have unlimited funds. Which brings me to the most practical tactic for today, which is the time box. Most of us make the mistake of staying open-ended. We go to the family house and we stay until we break. Instead, decide before you go how long you can last while maintaining your alignment. Maybe it's 2 hours, maybe it's 45 minutes, and you communicate this upfront. I'd love to come for dinner. I can be there from 5 to 7, then I have another commitment. And you don't need to explain what that other commitment is. The commitment might be sitting in your car in silence and wallowing over everything that happened. But having an exit strategy lowers your anxiety because your brain knows there is an end in sight. And you are prioritizing the quality of the interaction over the quantity. I would much rather have you spend 60 minutes with your family in a state of grace and of love than 6 hours in a state of resentment and anger. So, to close off, I want to leave you with this thought. We often judge our holidays by a Hallmark movie standard. We think success means everyone got along, everyone laughed, we had the breakthrough moment of connection. But if you come from a toxic family system, that is a recipe for failure. So, I want you to redefine winning. Winning this Christmas is not about changing them. Winning is not about getting an apology. Winning is driving home at the end of the night, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I didn't lose my cool. I didn't revert to the child I was before. I acted in a way that aligns with the man or woman that I want to be right now. That is victory. That is how you break generational cycles. You break them by not taking part in the dance. Look, you can love them, you can pray for them, you can honor them, but you do not have to be destroyed by them. Now, I wrote an entire article on this topic that goes much deeper. It even includes scripts. You can use word for word when things get heated. It's called Surviving Family Christmas, How to Navigate Toxic Family Dynamics. The link is in the description. Read it before you drive to your parents' house this year, because it just might save your holiday. Keep your alignment, and I'll see you next time.